A man with royal background and rich historical legacy to his credit is hitting the headlines these days because of the significant move that he has brought in the political arena of the state. Viewers, let me welcome the son of the soil and ex-MLC Vikramaditya Singh. Welcome, sir, to Excelsior News.
Thank you.
And disparity, discrimination, and disdainful attitude of the present government. You mentioned these reasons in your press conferences as the base for resignation from the party as well as from the MLC post. But a man with a high stature like you, with 2 points I want to ask the questions. First, that why you took such a long time to resign, and second, that why you joined PDP at the first instance.
Both are very good questions, Amit. I will answer the second one first.
Yes.
I was not a political person. I joined politics very recently, about 4 years ago, and I joined at the behest of our late leader, Mufti Sayeed. He was very keen that our family, somebody from our family, play an important role in active politics in today in J&K, and he felt that I could be very useful to him as a member of the PDP in Jammu. So we had several discussions. He called me and he said that, look, I would like you to join the party and be the face of Jammu and take up the Jammu issues for us, because for us it's a very important part of J&K and a significant part of J&K, and issues relating to Jammu must be addressed. So that was the background of my joining. Mufti Saab also had a very good vision for Jammu and Kashmir. He had wanted to bridge the gap between the three regions of J&K. He wanted to bring people's hearts and minds together. He wanted to build Jammu as an independent tourism hub. So there were several issues relating to his vision and his thought process which agreed with me, and I was very happy. I said yes, he would be the right leader to join the party with. So that is to answer how I came into the PDP. The second part of your answer regarding my disillusionment and why I took time to leave. You have to appreciate, like I said, that I am not by nature a politician. Maybe that is why I view things a little differently and my decision making is a little different. So as intended, I started the process of interacting with the public. I started the process of understanding the public. It takes a little bit of time and a devotion to not just lecture people, but also have the ability to listen to them and understand their grievances and issues, which is what I was doing for the past 2 or 3 years precisely. Whether it was in the border areas during the shelling period, whether it was with our farmers and agriculturists during bad seasons, whether it was talking about crop insurance, cattle insurance, other important aspects relating to Jammu and our people, problems relating to the Kandi area and so on and so forth. So it took a little bit of time for me to develop a deeper understanding of what is it that is lacking in Jammu, and also to be able to understand the politics and rifts between the various regions of Jammu and how the political process plays out. And it was interesting to be in the government, and one was hopeful that being part of a ruling coalition, one would be able to make a difference by taking up these important issues with the government, with my own party primarily. I'll talk about my own party. So that was the reason why I took about 2.5 to 3 years. But the moment I started raising these issues and the press started talking about it and it started getting highlighted in the social media and the press, I could sense that my party was not very comfortable with this scenario.
Okay, sir. You mentioned about former CM late Mufti Sayeed, and when covered your or gone through your press conference, you mentioned that he had a secular character and mindset. So, after the demise of Mufti Sayeed, would you agree that the secular character in the PDP party got somewhere missing? Was that the reason you just chose to step down?
I don't think it was just that. I think a lot changed after Mufti Saab left us. There was a whole change in attitude, in the thought process. in the way they would be viewing me, or in the way that they would start viewing Jammu. There was definitely a lack of trust, and I began to feel more and more isolated in the party. And it was very clear that when I would raise issues concerning the region, concerning the people of our areas, whether it was compensation even for some of our martyrs. There was a time I remember where during the Odi encounter, 17 of our boys were martyred at that time, our soldiers. The government took a very long time in deciding about the compensation. So I went up to the CM and I said, look, compensation must be announced for these boys. And two of the people were from Jammu, and I gave them compensation out of my pocket at that time, because the government delayed that process. Eventually the government did give compensation, there is no doubt about it. So there were issues like that that sort of created hurdles, and the hurdles just kept growing one after the other.
Okay, sir. So your resignation at present time has generated a positive, vibe in this region, particular Jammu region. So how you are going to plan your future, discourse of action? What will be that, or are you going to, formulate a new party, or how you are going to, reorient and formulate this present situation into a better, a better party or something like that?
Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to the people of Jammu, to the elders, to the youth. I never expected, I'll be very frank with you, I never expected the kind of response that this has generated in the entire Jammu region, entire Jammu province. I mean, the way people have supported me and come forward, and blindly they have said, ki you lead us and we will follow you. Firstly, I would like to humbly offer my gratitude to the people of the state and to the media for being extremely supportive and taking up all the issues that I have raised so positively in the limelight of public. As far as the next step is concerned, I think it is going to be a very critical step, because today I feel that my responsibility as a citizen of Jammu and Kashmir has grown. Even though I have left the party, even though I have left the Legislative Council, but in terms of responsibility and expectation, that has only gone up. So what I do tomorrow will not only reflect on me, it is going to reflect on Jammu. So you are absolutely right. I mean, the next step has to be taken, but it will take some time. I am not going to do it in a hurry, and it will be done with proper consultation. It will be done keeping the sentiments of Jammu people, and it will take a little bit of time before we can come out and formulate a strategy as to what we are going to do in the future.
Okay, sir. So going back to history now, sir, decentralization, democratization process in Jammu and Kashmir started way back 70 years or something like that, more than that. Kashmir has remained the, center of policy formulation, and Jammu its follower. So would you agree that this whole process of from policy formulation to to a follower, there is a lack in Jammu province I'm talking about. There is a lack of a vacuum of creative political awareness or visionary leadership. Do we have a vacuum of that in Jammu and Kashmir, especially Jammu province?
Firstly, I think you're very right when you say that this is what I talk about when I say regional imbalance. So this regional imbalance in J&K is as a result of various Government of India policies, various state government policies, and attitude and mindset that has come up over the past 70 years. I think today, more than ever, the public is aware of that, and this needs to be changed. You cannot have a Kashmiri-centric politics running this entire state. Unfortunately, the structure of the state is such that it allows political and constitutional rights for a Kashmiri-dominated society or a Kashmiri-dominated governance in J&K. So this is a very sensitive matter, but it is a matter that we need to start talking about now. And if you want to bring about regional balance, then at some point in time you're going to have to decide on what kind of a structural change you're going to want to bring into the state. So it's a matter of debate, it's a matter of discussion, which I think is going to require a very deep understanding of what is going on in Jammu and Kashmir and how things need to change very, very quickly and very drastically.
Okay, sir. You mentioned in your press conference various reasons, various, discriminations that are being met to Jammu from past so many successive governments. So, what will be their possible solutions? Do you have something in your mind, or do you have the blueprint of those problems? For example, delimitation. We talk about delimitation or separate statehood. There are few political parties from Jammu region which demand separate statehood. So, delimitation, separate statehood, are these the possible solutions for repealing out these discriminatory attitude of the government with Jammu province?
The first thing you'll need to do is to bring about a regional balance. Now, how do you bring about regional balance? Firstly, you have to consider the number of seats. Delimitation is very, very important. How is that going to be done? When is the time frame for that? Is the government of India today? We are working on the 2001 consensus. If you ask me today, the population of Jammu province would be the same as Kashmir Valley, but it is not projected like that. We have 10 seats less than Kashmir Valley. Why is that? Why is there such discrepancy? A constituency like Gurez that has a population of 18,000 is represented by one MLA, and Gandhinagar that has a population of 2,25,000 voters, is represented by one MLA as well. So, this sort of discrepancy has to be leveled out, and then there is the larger province of Ladakh. What about Ladakh? Just because the population of Ladakh is the least means we don't talk about them, or we don't address them when it comes to regional identities. I think it's very, very important today for any government that will come into power in times to come to address the regional identities, respect their regional aspirations, and somehow or the other find a way, if you want to keep the state together, find a way to get rid of the regional imbalances.
So the party which is in power right now, it is in coalition with BJP, and to few days back you were a member of that party, PDP. So it was in the agenda of alliance. Delimitation was in the agenda of alliance, that they will talk over it or they will do something for that. But still up to this stage nothing has happened. So don't you see that it is the non-seriousness attitude of the government that they want to carry forward this discriminatory attitude?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. Today there is a coalition government, and it is certainly not in the benefit of the BJP to carry forward that thinking. They have to emerge with a new line of thought where Jammu is a very integral and important part. It cannot be a Kashmir-centric discussion any longer. That is very clear, and I think they are aware of that. But this question perhaps you should ask them as to when is it that they plan to implement it.
Sir, next I want to touch the recent decision yesterday which government of India has taken to appoint the interlocutor to talk about the Kashmir situation and to handle that talk process to go proceed. So how do you see this move of center? Will it change some kind of a situation in Kashmir or Jammu?
I think talks are extremely important. I have always been in favor of talks. I think it's important. It's important that we talk to the right people, the right representatives. It's also important that Government of India is seen as engaging with the, I don't like to use the word stakeholders because it's very questionable who are the stakeholders, who are not, but it's important to engage with the public representatives there, whether you agree with their views or you don't agree with their views. But having said that, you also have to keep in mind that over the past so many years, since 1947, there have been several commissions that have been set up for precisely this reason, including the last commission that was set up of the interlocutors, where there were 3 very significant people who were part of that, and they presented a report. So my question is that what has happened to all these previous commissions and previous reports? Why have they not been tabled? They must be having some positive suggestions. You may not want to accept them all in toto, but they would come out with certain revelations and certain ground facts which could be considered. What is it that this gentleman is going to be able to discover or find today? But nonetheless, it is a good step. At least you have started talking to these people, and some sort of a solution, hopefully we are all very hopeful, would come out, because most importantly, what is required in this state is a sense of peace, and I think that is any step taken in that direction is a welcome step.
Okay, sir. In the end, sir, what message would you like to give to Jammutis, especially for for whom you have taken this, I will say a decision in favor of Jammutis? So, what message you would like to give to Jammutis at this point of time?
Firstly, once again, I'd like to thank people of Jammu province. I'd like to express my gratitude for showing me this overwhelming support that they have shown. I think it's very important that we carry on our fight for the right causes, which is the regional identity of Jammu, which is taking members of all communities and making sure that this very special secular fabric of Jammu is protected, and not to get carried away by people who want to break us or see us as a divided lot. To unite, to speak in one voice for Jammu, for all the people of Jammu, all the way from Banihal down to Lakhanpur. Jammu is one region, and we must respect the sentiments of all the communities living here and take everybody with us.
Thank you, sir, talking to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So viewers, the message is clear that till the Jammu people don't become the voice of their own people, till then it is impossible to achieve anything. So be united for any cause. This is Amit reporting for Excelsior News.